Hey everybody, it's Dusti Martin with Platinum Living Realty, just dropping in to give you your end of the year monthly market update for the city of Scottsdale. Let's just jump right into it. Right now, our active listings are down 21.4%, but our sales are actually up 8.1%. So we're still in a seller's market, trending towards a seller's market. Things do calm down a little bit during the holidays, and of course we just had Thanksgiving and we're barreling towards Christmas here in a couple of weeks. So you just kind of got to be mindful of that. But year over year, we're still in a better place than we were this time last year, and that's what matters. So you can't really compare month to month unless you're really getting ready to sell right now. But versus last year, if you've been thinking about it for a while, now is a much better time to sell than last year. Don't forget though, we are headed towards a correction, and we'll get into that a little bit later. Right now, we're at just over 3 months supply, so 3.08 months supply. And that means that, yes, we're still in seller's market, but we shouldn't get too crazy with our pricing because buyers aren't going to just roll over and take it. And then our active days on market right now is only 50 days. In an even stable market, you're looking at 90 days for an average home sale in Maricopa County. So anything under that is actually pretty great. Now, the good news, and I know a lot of buyers are thinking, well, we're going to have a correction, things might tank. No, when I say correction, I mean like that. I mean 1 or 2%. The great thing, though, is that the interest rates have gone down, and the Fed has signified or sent the message that they plan on pausing that, and they don't foresee any other rate decreases or changes in the foreseeable future. So what that means is going into the last end of the fourth quarter like we are now, and then into the next first quarter, we're already seeing increased and better than expected Black Friday numbers and all of that. So really, I think rates are about as low as they could go. And I think they're going to stay this way for a little bit, if not maybe increase a little bit next year. I could be wrong. I would love to be wrong, actually, in that case. But the good news is for buyers is they have a lot more buying power right now. So not only are sellers getting the numbers they want, but buyers aren't being pinched too hard either, just because say a $400,000 purchase before 6 months ago, you're at $400,000, you would be looking at almost a $2,000 monthly payment once you count your HOA, your taxes, your insurance. You'd be up at that $2,000 a month range. Now, with rates shifted so much lower, that same buyer can buy upwards of $430,000, $460,000 and still have a similar payment. So that's really great news for buyers, and I hope that those who are in a position to do so take advantage of that quickly, because especially if you're renting, because renting right now is actually more expensive. So just keep that in mind. So let's break it down by price point, and I'm going to have to read some of the smaller ones because it gets a little intricate here in the different price ranges. So this year, right now, for all of Scottsdale, like I said, we're at 3.0 months supply. If we go to anything under $100,000, we're at a 3 month supply. Still seller's market, pretty strong, but not crazy. It's the 100 to 200 and the 200 to 300 that is actually super crazy right now. The 100 to 200 is actually right at about 1 exact month of supply. That is a white hot seller's market. The 200 to 300, which are tending to go away from condos at that point and into single family homes, then you're running at less than a month supply of inventory, 0.86 months. So it's even crazier if you own a single family home in that price range in Scottsdale. It's almost a unicorn. You will be able to pick from all of the buyers, all of them. It's great. The next part we want to talk about is the 300 to 500 range. There is less than a 2 month supply. It's currently at 1.59 months supply. So still super strong. A little more buyers, or little less buyers, I should say, in that price range, but it's also super desirable, super affordable price range. So if you are in that, that bracket with your home, if you're somewhere between 300 and 500, buyers are really looking. That's the sweet spot for Scottsdale. And the next one is the $500,000 to $700,000 range. That is actually only a 2.3 month supply. So still a seller's market, still pretty strong, not as strong as the lower end price points, but at the same time, that is still a really strong seller's market, and you're starting to creep up towards where there are less and less buyers. So, and that just that's kind of normal. Then when we get to the 700 to a million and the $1 million to $3 million range, this is where things get interesting. At the 700 to a $1 million mark, we're actually no longer in a seller's market. It is actually an even market. It's at 5.26 month supply. So yes, it's closer to being on the seller side. What this means is you might get top dollar for your home, but the buyers might not be willing to just roll over and take it when it comes to repairs. They might be asking for home warranties or other types of concessions, closing date preferences, that kind of thing. Or they might not be offering above list price. In the lower price points, if a home is priced properly, it is not uncommon to get multiple offers within 10 days, and a lot of them to go over a little bit. In this price range, you have to be a little more careful. You are no longer in a seller's market. You're kind of close to it, but you're not there. Technically, you're not there. And so the playing field's going to be a little more even. So if your home's priced appropriately, you will probably get close to or at market value. But you're probably not going to get much over that. Now, the $1 million to $3 million mark is actually much, much better off this month than it has been the last 2 months. So right now we're at 7.83% or 3 months of supply for the 1 million to 3 million. Back in October, it was like a 36 month supply, or no, 10, 11, my bad. 10, 11 months. It was the 3 million and over. That was the 36 months. So keep in mind, anything 8 months or more is a buyer's market. So in the $1 to $3 million range, you are really, really, really close to being in a buyer's market. And so this fall, we saw everybody come home. All the snowbirds came back. Everybody has been putting their $1 million, 1.2, $1.5 million properties on the market. Just this week alone, I've gotten 2 Zillow calls on a 1.2 and a $1.5 million property. And I have never gotten calls from Zillow for homes of that price point ever before, even working the same zip codes for years now, let alone 2 in a week. So it's been really crazy to see how many buyers are out there trying to score a deal, because so many people are finally recovered from the recession and the homes are basically back up to value, and people are now starting to flood the market with these $1 million homes that they've been sitting on for a decade. So that's something to keep in mind. So we're at 7.8 months supply for the $1 to $3 million mark. And then we've got the $3 million and over, and that's at a 25 month supply. So that supply has actually gone down, which is super cool if you own one of those big luxury mansions up here in Scottsdale, because last month there was a 36 month supply, and the year before, or the month before that. So we are doing really, really well. At the last little push of 2019 here and going into 2020, I think we're going to have a phenomenal season. And if you're thinking of buying or selling a home, now is definitely the time. Last year, for example, the $3 million and over properties had a 65.5 month supply. Now do the math. That's at least 1, 2, 3, almost 4 years of supply and almost no demand. So to make, for things to jump that wildly in a year for high-end, like super high-end luxury properties is amazing. Again, my name is Dusti Martin. If you have any questions and want more details on your specific zip code or neighborhood, give me a call at 480-717-9405. I will be more than happy to help you.